Alright, so as you probably know, it's January 2025, and I decided that I'd go ahead and make the dumbest video of the year early on, so we can only go up from there, basically. So in this video, I'm just going to take a look at some of the most iconic 5e D&D monsters, and let you know if I think I could take them in a fight. The premise is that I'm meeting the monster in its territory, but we're going to be facing off at a distance of, let's say, 30 feet, discovering each other at the same time. And it's assumed that the monster is hostile towards me, but if I'm able, I may be able to use diplomacy or whatever to survive. My goal is just to survive, escape, or kill the monster. Doesn't really matter which one, because of course some of these monsters would probably be impossible for me to kill. So the idea is just to survive. Quickly just introducing the tiers here. What we have is meat's back on the menu, boys, which means that I'm eating well tonight if I meet this monster. That's a definite win for me. Then there's bloodied but getting the W, which just means that I'll probably win, but I'm not gonna get out of it without a few scratches. And then there's a 50-50, which basically just means that I have a chance, they have a chance, it's up in the air. Only with Timora's aid means just that the Goddess of Luck will have to bless me if I'm going to win that one, but I do have a chance. And then there's the last one, which is I am watch for dinner, which basically means that I have zero chance whatsoever of beating this monster in a fight or just surviving a chance encounter with this monster. The first monster I want to start off with is one we know from the real world, just to sort of set the scene here and just see where we're at. And that is the Mastiff. I'm just going to put it here for now. So Mastiff, a large dog. In this case, we have it statted out like such. It's a bite attack. Yeah, it can jump up, but realistically, I know dogs reasonably well. It's gonna weigh at most half as much as me. It's gonna be strong, sure. It has sharp teeth, but if I'm armored and I have a blade in my hand, I get that win every time. I think I don't see a scenario where a dog, even a big dog, is gonna kill me fast enough. So for me, that's definitely meat's back on the menu, boys. I'd be eating dog. Probably not if I can avoid it, but yeah. I think I'd favor me heavily in that fight. I don't see myself losing whatsoever. So I think the next one we're going to take here is the Owlbear, because we're still in the realm of beasts, or monstrosities in this case. But for me, the Owlbear is sort of like a beast. It has a beast's intelligence and stuff like that, but it's a big boy. This one, if we just compare it to other D&D beasts we know, has a challenge rating that is much higher than even a polar bear, I think. I believe a polar bear is a challenge rating 2 creature. So just to get it like a sense of how strong the D&D books believe that an owlbear is. It has a beak, it has claws, it has keen sight and smell. For me, defeating an owlbear is probably not on the table unless I get really lucky with my blade. What I do think I would be able to is not outrun it, because it can climb, I believe. Okay, it can't climb, so that might be my chance to get away if I can climb up into a tree fast enough. It's pretty fast, it's faster than me, so it's going to catch me otherwise. But there might be a chance for me to use some animal handling, soothe the beast, and try to just back away slowly, get up into a tree and survive. So I think that I'd say it's a 50-50, not a 50-50 that I defeated in a hand-to-hand fight, because I'm getting pasted if that's the case. But I think I have decent odds of either climbing up into a tree, using my words, which would probably be the first option, try and see, hey, can we back off, back down, get you not so riled up. That doesn't work. Climb up into a tree. That doesn't work. Try to get a surprise strike in. Try to get really lucky with my blade. So all in all, with these three options for me, I'd say it's a 50-50. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. No doubt about it. All right, so a bit of change of pace here. Let's do the Goblin. So goblins are described as small, which is nice. It's going to be half my size or smaller. It has decent dexterity, better than me at least, but otherwise I beat it all out in all categories except for wisdom. It has this nimble escape thing where it can disengage, hide. It has a short bow, which I'd be really afraid of, because getting shot at with a sharp stick is not fun at all. So I think me meeting the Goblin head on head it's gonna get a shot off probably before I get in range with my sword. And then it can disengage, it can hide. I think what I try to do is probably run the other way, escape that, get behind cover, and then jump out and surprise it when it comes through, using superior smarts to just get a stab in. The good thing about it is that unless it gets really lucky with the bow, or it gets a really lucky scimitar strike in, I'd probably be favored if I'm wearing armor and I have a sword that I'm proficient in. Of course, those are the sort of the terms for the engagement. So I think it's a bloodied, but I'm getting the W. I'm either getting away because it's too afraid to like chase me down, or it tries to hide and I just run the other way, or I set up an ambush and jump out and kill the little critter when it comes too close. So yeah, it's a bloodied, but I'm getting the win. So then we have a Kobold, which is like in the same ballpark as a Goblin. It's small, it has an even worse challenge rating, it has sunlight sensitivity, so say I'm meeting it in the evening, so it's a fairer fight. It has pack tactics, that's not gonna matter if there's only one of them. And then it has a dagger and a sling, both of which deal less damage than a Goblin's weapons. It also doesn't have the disengage hide thingy. It has the same speed as I do, armor class, hit points. So for me, it probably got to go here. Yeah, I think that I'm getting it 9 out of 10 times. I'm killing that Kobold, or getting it to flee, basically. So I don't see the Kobold winning over me. With a dagger and a sling, it has even less of a chance to get a lucky hit in before I kill it or send it scrambling. And it doesn't have the guerrilla tactics to wear me down. All right, let's do a fun one here. Let's say a dragon. So dragons come in many types, sizes, ages, colors, and all that. So let's say the assumption here is that we're talking about an adult dragon, which is sort of in the middle of the field. Young adult, probably not going to matter. I think actually I took 2 images, so what we can do is say it's an adult black dragon and a red dragon wormling, because that gives us sort of 2 scenarios. For the adult black dragon, it's an adult red dragon I have here, but the stats are kind of the same. We have the frightful presence thing, at least in the 5e 2014 version. That's changing pretty soon. It has superior stats to me. It has superior speeds. It has incredible AC, too many hit points. It has perception plus 13 and blindside. So we don't have to talk too much about the adult dragon. Let's just say the adult red dragon. I'm dead. I'm watch for dinner. If that dragon want to kill me, I'm dead. So I'd say the one chance that I do have is that I'll be thinking, okay, this creature is going to kill me. I have no chance. And maybe, just maybe, I can offer myself up as a willing slave. Say, yeah, I'll fetch 5 other adventurers you can eat tonight instead of me, or I'll do whatever you want me to do if you'll just keep me alive. And maybe with a bit of persuasion and some good arguments, I could maybe get it to not kill me. But I'll say if it wants to kill me, I'm dead, so I'm still going to keep it down here and I'm watched for dinner. There's basically no chance. So for the Black Dragon Wormling, we have the stats here, and basically it's sort of the same tale. It's still pretty high AC, better speeds than me all across the board, some blindside, decent perception. It's a bite, which is lethal, most likely. It's still medium size, so probably about my size and weight, maybe a bit lighter, but still. And it can fly. And then it can exhale acid in a line that is probably going to evaporate me. So it's one of these things where maybe it's easier to convince the Wormling Dragon that it needs a slave. That could be me. Maybe I have a not 0% chance of getting a lucky strike in before it kills me. I'm going to put it in only with Tomorrow's Aid, because even though it's not more powerful on paper than an Owlbear, I have so many more chances to escape or persuade or use superior intellect against the Owlbear, while the Black Dragon Wormling is not unintelligent and it just have that superior movement. It could just stay out of range, even if I did have a longbow and knew how to shoot it, which is not a stat I'm giving myself. I don't see me surviving. It's going to be quite difficult to survive. I might be able to go into a hole of hide somewhere where it can maybe not reach me with its breath attack, and I can stab it if it tries to crawl in. Yeah, it's quite unlikely. I'm probably toast only with Timora's aid or some persuasion. So next up, let's do the Beholder, because I think the Beholder is a fun one. You, of course, know the Beholder is one of the most iconic monsters in 5e Dungeons & Dragons, and it has, or in Dungeons & Dragons in general, it's a large aberration. It has all these cool rays, challenge rating 13, but it does also have some weaknesses. Now, I'm not looking at hit points like I need to hit it 18 times, dealing 10 damage if I want to kill it. I'm looking at it as like a real creature, how it would be if it was in the real world. And I'm looking at a big eye right in the middle. So if I can get to that eye and put my long sword in that eye to the hilt, that's a dead Beholder. That's a chance I have. It has a speed of 0 or a fly speed of 20 feet, which of course is what it's going to be using, but that's slower than me. I'm faster than a Beholder. This is important. The Beholder also has decent dexterity, so slightly higher than me, but not much. It has great perception, so I'm not going to be hiding from it. But I do have 2 chances, I think. The first chance is that I'm going to pretend to be casting a spell just as I meet it. Maybe, hopefully, get it to activate its anti-magic cone, because that also interrupts its own rays, rather than just shoot at me. It's a small chance that it'll be dumb enough to do that. It is pretty intelligent, so I'd have to be pretty convincing. But if I can get it to use the anti-magic cone, because of course I don't have spells, I'm way less at a disadvantage. It still has these huge bites, so it's like a shark that can fly, but it's only a shark that can fly, which is a step up from like having 10 eye rays focused on you. My other chance is that I beat it in initiative, and I'd clear that distance, that 30 feet distance, in a rush, and just get my blade to the hilt into its face. If I can't do that, if it seems like, okay, I'm not going to do that, it's going to get a ray shot at me before I reach it, I'll just run the other way, try to get behind cover, and try to stay behind cover. Just run. Let's say I meet it in a forest, you're jumping behind trees, just running away, superior speed, and then just keeping cover between me and it means that at some point I will get away if I can just avoid being hit. That's a big if, obviously. But if I'm just very quick on my feet and with a bit of luck, I don't see it as being impossible. The other way, of course, rushing in if I can't see a way of escape and just hoping to God that I'll get a stab in, praying for Timora. It's easier in my native language to say this. Timora. Let's say that. So I think that I have a chance, but it's with Timora's aid. Yeah, I'd need a bit of luck, but it's certainly not impossible for me. The bad thing is that if it gets off like 1 or 2 of its good rays, just 1 of its good rays, basically. Charm ray, paralyzing ray, like most of these rays would just kill me outright or incapacitate me long enough for it to just kill me otherwise. So yeah, let's go with the Displacer Beast. So Displacer Beasts are, of course, these panther-like beasts that have tentacles that can slam you and deal some piercing damage as well. They have displacement, which makes them really hard to pin down, and they have a great speed advantage. So I see the Displacer Beast, which also has an intelligence of 6, like a much more terrifying version of the Owlbear, because I basically don't think that if it wants to like eat me, that I have a chance of standing it down. It's not like a creature that I'm interrupting. It's a lawful evil creature. It's there to just fuck me up if it wants to. It's basically already hunting. It's not defending itself like an Owlbear would. Also, 0 chance I'm killing it. It's like it has natural armor. It has this displacement feature that would just wreck me. So I have 0 chance, I think, of killing it in a fair fight. And the tentacles is gonna give it superior reach to me. It has superior speed, so I don't see me climbing away or anything like that. It's weird to say, but I think that I have a less of a chance against the Displacer Beast than I would have against a Beholder. Basically, it's like a tiger. I have armor and a sword. Yeah, I could probably take a tiger. I didn't say only with Timora's aid, but if you give that tiger tentacles and displacement, I don't see a way. I don't see a way I survive that. Really, it doesn't even have to get close. It just has to use those tentacles. maybe I'm being hard on myself. Maybe it's only with Tomorrow's 8 I have that 5-10% chance. I probably do have a 5-10% chance. A few lucky strikes would do the trick. So yeah, let's put it here. Then let's go with the Basilisk, because this is of course a fun one. It's also a beast, pretty dumb, or it's a monstrosity, but potato. It has bad perception, so I could pretty easily hide. It has a speed of 20 feet. It has a bite that is terrible and terrifying, but it's slow moving and low range, so I'm not too afraid of its bite, to be honest. What I am afraid of is its petrifying gaze. So basically, if the scenario is that I meet it, and we meet each other head on, and I have to immediately roll a Constitution saving throw, I would say Constitution saves, it's more than a 50-50 chance for me that I survive that save, and then I can just turn around or run the other way. If I have to kill it, I would have to do so with my eyes closed, and in that case, it's probably pretty hard to get through that natural armor, see what I'm doing without ever opening my eyes, just having a peek. I'd stumble, I'd fall. So if I just need to get away, I like my odds. It's not up here, but it's like with the Owlbear. I have a pretty decent chance of getting away. I just have to survive that first petrification. If I can do that, then I'm just out of there, or I'm getting in a lucky strike. So a 50-50 for me. Let's go with the Orc, which has been saved down here. So Orcs I see as basically big, brawny bodybuilder types with more aggression, and of course great with the weapons they're using, great axes, javelins. It can move fast with the aggressive bonus action. I think the new Orcs are going to have something similar to that in 2024. It has a lot of strength, it has same dexterity, it's basically better than me or similar to me in all stats except intelligence, so that would be my only saving grace here. We see each other. There's no way I'm rushing into an Orc head on, because it's just going to destroy me, I think. What I would maybe do is run the other way. Yeah, that's a tactic. But then try to hide somewhere, set up an ambush, hope that I can get it to run into my blade, basically. I'm not going to be out doing the Orc in anything martial related, except for using maybe superior intelligence to set up an ambush of sort, throw a stone over here, come out, stab it in the back. It's going to be one of those type scenarios. Is it a 50-50? Hand on heart, looking at like a 7 feet tall bodybuilding type with a great axe and superior speed. It's down here. I fear the Orc more than I fear both the old Owlbear and the Basilisk. Yeah, I don't want to go up against that at all. Okay, so let's grab another one. We have the Gelatinous Cube, which of course is a fun one. So the assumption is that I meet it in int territory, so that'll be a dungeon, like somewhere where I can't just run around it. It has a low speed, but it's also transparent, so I'd be relying on my DC I'd have to make a wisdom perception check to spot it if it hasn't moved or attacked. There's a pretty decent chance I'm just walking into that one, truly. I'm not great at perception. I'd probably just be off somewhere in my own thoughts and just walk straight into the cube, be engulfed by it, and then I can make a strength check to escape. I'd have a decent chance of escaping, but there's also a decent chance that I just get dissolved instantly, or dissolved before I can escape. So I'd say it's a less than 50% chance that I don't just walk into it, and then there's a greater than 50% chance that I get out of it before it dissolves me. And as soon as I'm out of it, I'd be able to run away the other way, assuming that it's not a dead end that I'm running into. I'd say 50-50 is about right. Yeah, I don't think I'm killing it. I think I'm running away if I'm able. So 50-50 for me. Someone more perceptive would probably have a very decent chance of just getting away without being harmed, assuming again that there is a way the other way. Yeah, assuming there is an escape route present. All right, so I think we'd go with the Lich now. Liches, of course, are probably one of the most frightening monsters, I think, in the monster manual. It has a challenge rating of 21. It's an archmage, as well as being an undead creature that is immune to basically everything, has superior perception, superior stats to me in everything but strength, and I'm not gonna go in there grappling someone who has a paralyzing touch. It can use Disintegrate, Power Word Kill, Dominate Monster. I think it has Fly as well. Doesn't even have Fly. Okay, yeah, but even if it doesn't, I'm not gonna hide from it. I don't see myself basically surviving in any, like the only way I'd survive is if I can, as soon as I see it, just yeet the other way and then hope that it doesn't use just Dimension Door or one of his 9,000 spells to kill me. Yeah, there's no chance. I'm done. It's again, it's down to, can I convince the Lich that I'll be a willing servant? And even then, why doesn't it just kill me and reanimate me as an undead servant? And that means I died, so it lost the fight. Yeah, I'm not getting out of that one. It's a loss. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work. Then we have this Sphinx here, which I just taken the Gelatinous Sphinx, but these creatures are fairly similar in terms of both of them will take me in a fair fight to the death. I'm not surviving. So it doesn't have the greatest spell selections at all, but it has like a claw attack that'll tear me to pieces. It's like an oversized lion. Like in real world terms, where we're not looking at hit points necessarily, I could probably get a lucky stab in, but it's also resistant to non-magical damage, at least in the 2014 version. Likely will not have this resistance in the new version. If it's in its lair, it has all these lair actions, it has legendary actions. What I'm banking on is that we're fighting by its terms, which would mean that probably maybe there'll be like a riddle or something. And I'm good at riddles, fairly decent at riddles. If it's a logical riddle, stuff like that, I think I have above average chances. So as long as it's only there to stop me and not to kill me, I think I have decent chances. But again, if we're looking at a fight, looking at trying to escape, it has, yeah, it's way faster, it can fly. Assumption, it gives me a riddle, and if I can answer that riddle, I survive. I think that's a 50-50 for me. It just want to kill me, then we're probably down here. I don't see me defeating a Sphinx in any scenario, basically. But I'll go with the assumption that it is going to pose me a riddle, and only if I can't answer the riddle, it'll try to kill me, which puts my chances at about 50-50, I'd say. All right, then we have the Purple Worm, which is one of my favorite creatures that we don't use too often. It's not that fun either in its 5e like iteration, at least not in the 2014 version. But basically we just have a ultra fast, gigantic sandworm type deal that can tunnel, come up, bite. It has a tail stinger even, because why not just be terrifying from both ends? This is one of these things where, because it has blindside and tremor sense, there's a very minor chance of me escaping it. It's faster than me, and it can burrow beneath the ground where I can't see where it's gonna go. So I'd have to get on top of some sort of cliff maybe before it just swallows me. Yeah, it's not happening. There's no talking it down either. It's not a beast like that I can reason with in any way, shape or form. So I'm just dead. Yeah, no chance at all. And I saved one of the best ones for last. This is the feared and beloved Mind Flayer, which of course is one of my favorite monsters as well. I think it's a lot of people's favorite monsters. So basically it's armored, it has decent survivability, which is something that I wouldn't take into account because it looks really flimsy or like soft, not very well protected or very sturdy. So I'd probably say that it's not going to have the equivalent of 71 hit points. It has decent perception, great saves all around, and it also has the ability to detect thoughts, so it knows where I'm going, where I'm hiding. It can levitate, which means it could just levitate out of harm's way. It can dominate a monster, so it can just dominate me, and then of course it has all these insane features: tentacles, mind blast, extract brain. And the thing is, if I volunteer to become the Mind Flayer's servant, which would be my instinct to say, hey, I'm on your side, let's be friends, it'll just make me a mind slave, and that's basically like dying. So I don't see that as a win. It's probably what it wants to do anyway, unless it decides my brain is tasty enough for it to just eat outright. Do I have a chance at victory? What can I do here? Can I, if I Okay, so let's say it's real world physics. If I rush in with my blade, I have a long sword, and I just stab that motherfucker in the face before it ever gets a chance. We have the same initiative, supposedly, with a +1 in dexterity. It's not that hard to hit. I think that's my only chance. Rush in, get a lucky strike in. So I'd probably say with tomorrow's 8, I have a chance of just killing it before the combat starts. But that's a big if. And if we are assuming real life physics, I have to clear 30 feet, 10 meters before, or 9 meters, before it just does a mind blast and evaporates me. I'm not that fast. I'm 34 with a bum knee. Let's be realistic. It's probably not gonna go my way. So yeah, I think that's my tier list here. I'd beat a dog or a dog-faced lizard that's 3 feet tall. I'd probably beat a goblin handily most of the time. And then we have an Owlbear, Basilisk, Gelatinous Cube, and a Sphinx down here in the 50-50 category. I don't love that fight, but I think I survive most of the time. Honestly, I'm not killing any of these creatures, probably. And then with tomorrow's 8, I might be able to survive a Beholder. I might be able to survive a Dragon Vermling, an Orc, a Displacer Beast, and a Mind Flayer, but that's gonna take a big portion of luck. And then Adult Dragon, Lich, Purple Worm, there's just no chance in hell. There's no way I'm getting out of that fight alive at all. So yeah, those are my picks. That's how I think I'd do in a fight against D&D monsters. This has been a really fun exercise. If you disagree with me about anything, or you have suggestions for what other monsters we should maybe take a look at, or yeah, you just want to sound off in the comments, please do so below. I also want to really quickly shout out Shards of Corruption, which is our current Kickstarter campaign. There's a link to that as well in the description down below. It's basically a labor of love because we're putting out adventures, which is what we love to make the most. It's a small project, just in-house, just pure passion, but we think it's really fun and we think you're going to love the book. And then there's also 40 new monsters in it. So yeah, if you have any interest in that, please check that out. We'd love to have your support. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot left to say, except thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you in the next video.